Everyone in the restaurant saw the man walk in and silently agreed on one thing. Do not take that table. He looked like the kind of customer who could cost you your job with a single sentence. Wealthy, cold, impossible to please. What no one knew was that he owned the place and had come to judge everything without revealing who he was. And when every experienced server stepped back in fear, one new waitress with rent due and nothing to lose made a choice that would change her life forever. She did not raise her voice. She did not beg. She simply walked forward. And in that quiet moment, everything began to unravel. The restaurant was already holding its breath before he even sat down. It was just after 7 in the evening in downtown Seattle, the hour when the dining room should have been loud with laughter and clinking glasses. Instead, a quiet tension spread the moment the man in the dark tailored suit took his seat near the center of the room. His posture was rigid, his movements precise, as if he measured every inch of space around him. He did not look angry. He did not look impatient. Somehow, that made it worse. Whispers began almost immediately. "That's him! Please don't let it be my section." Servers suddenly found reasons to walk the long way around. Water pitchers needed refilling. Orders that did not exist suddenly had to be checked with the kitchen. Everyone knew the reputation. Wealthy, sharp-tongued, impossible standards. The kind of customer who could ruin your night with a single look. The host pretended not to notice when the man glanced at his watch. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The man folded his hands on the table and simply observed. Not the menu, the people. He noticed how eyes avoided his, how a senior waiter took 2 steps forward, then turned back as if pulled by an invisible rope. Interesting, he thought. What no one in the restaurant knew was that the man was not here for dinner. His name was Ethan Cole, founder and CEO of Cole Dining Group, the very company that owned this restaurant and dozens like it across the country. He had come alone, without an assistant, without an announcement, without the armor of his title. On paper, this location was flawless. Rising profits, strong reviews, high efficiency. But turnover was alarming, and fear has a way of hiding behind numbers. Ethan wanted to see the truth with his own eyes. Across the room near the service station, Lily Parker stood gripping her order pad a little too tightly. It was her 3rd week on the job. Her apron still felt stiff. Her feet already ached by hour 2. Rent was due in less than 2 weeks, and her savings were thin enough to make her stomach knot every time she thought about it. She noticed the empty table long before she noticed the whispers. 10 minutes without service, then 15. Her manager leaned in, voice low and urgent. "Do not take that table. Just wait." Lily followed his gaze. The man sat alone, calm, watching the room like he was studying it. He wasn't snapping his fingers. He wasn't complaining. Somehow that bothered her more than if he had. Another 5 minutes passed. Something about leaving someone waiting that long felt wrong, even if he was difficult, even if everyone else had silently decided he wasn't worth the trouble. Lily swallowed. She took a breath and stepped forward. The manager reached out to stop her, fingers brushing the edge of her apron, but she was already moving. When she reached the table, the man looked up slowly. His eyes were sharp, assessing her the way powerful people often did, as if waiting for fear to show itself. It didn't. "Good evening," Lily said, her voice steady. "I'm sorry for the wait. I'll be taking care of you tonight." The dining room seemed to go quiet in a way no one could quite explain. Ethan studied her. Most servers filled silence with nervous chatter. Lily didn't. She stood with relaxed shoulders, order pad resting lightly in her hand. No forced smile, no apology beyond what was reasonable. After a moment, Ethan spoke. "You took your time." "Yes, sir," Lily replied evenly. "And you're right to expect better. What can I get started for you this evening?" No excuses, no flinching. For the first time since he walked in, Ethan smiled, not because she was polite, but because she wasn't afraid. "A glass of water," he said slowly. "No ice. And tell me what you recommend, not what costs the most." Lily nodded. "I'll be right back." As she turned away, her heart didn't start racing until she reached the service station. Her hands shook once. She steadied them against the counter. The manager hissed, "What are you doing? That's not a regular customer." She met his eyes. "He's still a customer." Back at the table, Ethan watched her return. He had expected irritation, defensiveness, maybe fake charm. Instead, she placed the water down carefully and said, "I recommend the grilled salmon. It's consistent. The kitchen does it well." "Consistent," he repeated, amused. "Interesting word." "Consistency matters more than flash," she said. Ethan nodded. "I'll take it." As she wrote it down, he asked, Is it always this busy? On weeknights, yes. And tonight? She paused for half a second. Tonight feels tense. That earned another smile, a real one. You notice things, he said. It's part of the job, Lily replied. Ethan watched her move away, noticing how she listened more than she spoke at other tables, how she knelt slightly to speak to an elderly woman, how she corrected an order without blame or drama. No performance, just quiet competence. When the food arrived, Ethan studied the plate before touching it. You were right, he said when Lily checked back. It's consistent. I'm glad. He hesitated, then asked, How long have you worked here? A few weeks. And then you already speak like someone who's been here for years. I've worked in restaurants before, she said. People are usually the same, even when the menus change. Meaning, most people just want to be treated fairly, on both sides of the table. Fairly, the word lingered in Ethan's mind long after she walked away. When Lily placed the check down later, she waited without hovering. Ethan stood, pushing his chair in himself. The manager rushed over, apologizing in a rush of nervous words. Ethan raised a hand. Everything was fine. He turned to Lily. Thank you for your honesty tonight. You're welcome. He left without another word, but the weight he left behind was heavier than when he arrived. The next afternoon, the story was already spreading. He paid in cash, left a huge tip. That doesn't mean anything. Men like that come back. At 1:30, the door opened again. Lily felt it before she saw him. The same quiet shift in the room. Conversations dipped. Chairs scraped. Ethan chose a smaller table near the window this time. No one moved. He looked up and met Lily's eyes. Not with expectation, with recognition. She walked over. Good afternoon, she said. Welcome back. You remembered me, he said. You were here last night, Lily replied. I remember all my tables. That's rare. It's important to me. He watched her closely this time, changed his order twice, casually, testing. Her tone never shifted. Finally, he asked, Do you know why I came back? She shook her head. I don't. I wanted to see if last night was an act, or if that's who you are. Lily met his gaze. I don't know how to perform at work. I only know how to be professional. Professional. The word again. When he left, Ethan knew something had already changed. He just didn't know how far it would go yet, and Lily didn't know that the man she treated like everyone else owned everything she stood inside. As she cleared the table, a strange thought crossed her mind. Sometimes doing the right thing costs you, and sometimes it opens doors you never meant to knock on. Do you believe Lily did the right thing by stepping forward, even though it could have cost her her job, yes or no? The meeting invitation arrived the next morning while Lily was standing at the bus stop, coffee cooling in her hands. She read the email once, then again, then a third time just to be sure she was not misunderstanding it. A mandatory meeting at the regional office. Attendance required. Her name listed clearly at the bottom. Corporate. In the 3 weeks Lily had worked at the restaurant, corporate had been a distant, almost mythical word. It was mentioned in whispers after closing. It meant audits, quiet firings, sudden policy changes that no one explained. It was never good news for servers. Her stomach tightened. At work that afternoon, the atmosphere was different. Not loud, not hostile, just watchful. Conversation stopped when she entered the break room. A few coworkers smiled too quickly. Others avoided her eyes entirely. Someone muttered, "You're corporate now," with a half laugh that didn't reach their face. Lily pretended not to hear. She focused on her section, on the rhythm of the job, on doing exactly what she had done before. But doubt followed her like a shadow. Had she crossed a line by not backing down? Had she mistaken courage for stubbornness? The next morning, she arrived early at the regional office, hands folded tightly in her lap as she waited in the glass conference room. Managers from several locations filed in, faces tense. Her own manager barely looked at her. Then the door opened. Lily felt the air leave her lungs. The man from the restaurant stepped inside. No disguise this time. The tailored suit fit him perfectly. His presence filled the room without effort. Chairs shifted. Someone stood too quickly. Conversations died mid-sentence. He took the seat at the head of the table. "Good morning," he said calmly. "Thank you all for coming on short notice." No one spoke. "My name is Ethan Cole," he continued, "founder and CEO of Cole Dining Group." Lily's hands tightened under the table. This couldn't be real. Ethan glanced around the room, then his eyes landed on her for just a moment. Not sharp, not testing, almost reassuring. "This meeting," he said, "is not about numbers, not about margins. It's about standards." Silence stretched. "I've visited several locations recently," Ethan continued. unannounced, alone. I wanted to see how our people behave when they believe no one important is watching. A pause. What I saw, he said, was fear, avoidance. Systems built to protect management, not people. No one argued, then he turned toward Lily. And I saw one employee do something different. Every head turned. Heat rushed to Lily's face. She stood instinctively. Sir, if I did something wrong, I'm happy to explain. Ethan raised a hand gently. You did nothing wrong. You did something rare. He looked back at the room. Lily treated me the same way she treated every customer, with clarity, with respect, without fear, without flattery. Her manager stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. She did not know who I was, Ethan said. She did not know she was being observed. That is the point. Lily swallowed. Character, Ethan continued, does not reveal itself in one moment. It reveals itself in consistency. He took a breath. Effective immediately, we are implementing changes across all locations. New leadership accountability, revised reporting structures, training focused on people, not pressure. A murmur rippled through the room. Then Ethan turned back to Lily. And Lily Parker, I would like you to join a pilot leadership program. The room reacted instantly, shock, confusion, a few looks that were sharp enough to cut. Sir, Lily said quietly, I'm just a server. That's exactly why, Ethan replied. When she returned to the restaurant that night, nothing felt the same. No one congratulated her. No one asked questions. The easy jokes she'd shared during her first weeks were gone, replaced by something brittle. She moved through her shift with a knot in her chest, aware of every glance, every whisper. She worked harder than ever, but doubt followed her home. Had she earned this, or had she simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time? The pilot program moved fast. Meetings, site visits, long conversations about culture and accountability. Words that sounded hopeful until she realized how much resistance they carried. One afternoon, Ethan asked her to walk with him through another location. No disguise, no testing, just observation. As they moved through the dining room, Lily noticed things she had once ignored. A server flinching at a raised voice, a supervisor correcting someone publicly instead of privately. The same tension she had felt on her first night. This is what I meant, Ethan said quietly. People perform worse when they are afraid. They also resent change, Lily said, especially when it comes from someone they think didn't earn it. Ethan looked at her. Do you believe that? She hesitated. Some days. That night, the resentment stopped being subtle. Her former manager cornered her after closing. His voice was controlled, but his eyes were sharp. You made us all look bad. I did my job, Lily said. You did more than that, he replied, and now we all pay for it. The words followed her home. She sat on the edge of her bed, replaying every conversation with Ethan from the moment she'd walked up to that empty table. She wondered if staying quiet would have been easier, if shrinking herself would have kept the peace. Across the city, Ethan faced his own resistance. Executives pushed back hard. Numbers mattered, they argued. Speed mattered. Fear kept people sharp. She didn't excel because she was afraid, Ethan said calmly. She excelled because she was secure. Later that evening, he called Lily. I know this part is uncomfortable, he said. Growth usually is. I don't want special treatment, she replied. You're not receiving it, Ethan said. You're receiving responsibility. There was a pause. You stood up when it was easier to stay silent, he continued. That doesn't stop being difficult just because people know your name now. Lily closed her eyes. I just want to do this right. That's why you will, Ethan said. Change did not happen overnight. It came in small, uncomfortable shifts. Private corrections instead of public scolding. Clear expectations instead of shifting rules. A system where feedback could travel upward without punishment. Not everyone welcomed it. One location manager resigned within a week. Another accused Lily of favoritism. Rumors spread that she was Ethan's favorite, that she'd been fast-tracked without merit. Some days she believed them herself. Then one evening, a server approached her after a shift, hands shaking. I almost quit last month, the woman admitted. Now I don't feel invisible. Lily sat alone later that night, city humming outside her window. She thought back to the first night, the empty table, the man everyone avoided. She hadn't planned to change anything. She had simply refused to shrink. Her phone buzzed. You did well today, Ethan's message read. They're responding to you. She stared at the screen before replying. I'm still learning. So am I, came the response. The test that began in a restaurant was no longer about customer service. It was about courage. And Lily was beginning to understand that standing up once was only the beginning. Do you think Lily should keep pushing forward even when the people around her resent the change? Yes or no? The transformation did not announce itself with applause. 3 months after the night Lily Parker walked up to an empty table everyone else avoided, the downtown Seattle restaurant looked the same from the outside. Same sign, same hours printed neatly on the door, same polished floors reflecting the late afternoon light. But inside, something fundamental had shifted. The tension was gone. Not entirely, not perfectly, but enough that people could breathe. Servers no longer flinched when a supervisor walked by. Mistakes were corrected quietly instead of publicly. Conversations happened without whispers. Customers felt it too, even if they could not explain why the room felt warmer, calmer, more human. Lily noticed the change in small moments. A server speaking up about a scheduling issue without fear. A manager asking a question instead of issuing a command. A new hire smiling instead of trembling on her first shift. One afternoon, Lily stood near the service station watching a young woman greet her first table. The girl's hands shook slightly as she spoke. Lily passed by and said softly, "You're doing fine, just breathe." The girl smiled with visible relief. Across the room, Ethan Cole watched the exchange. This time, he was not there to test anyone. He had come to see the result. After the shift ended, Lily joined him near the window where everything had started. Sunlight spilled across the floor, stretching long shadows between the tables. "You changed this place," Ethan said quietly. Lily shook her head. "They did. I just stopped them from being scared." Ethan studied the room, then looked back at her. There was something in his expression that had not been there before. Not approval. Something deeper. Respect. "And what about you?" he asked. "What changed for you?" Lily considered the question. "I learned that standing up once is easy," she said. "Standing up every day is the real work." Ethan nodded. "That's leadership." The work continued. Lily's role expanded beyond the pilot program. She traveled between locations, listening more than she spoke, watching how people behaved when no one thought they were being evaluated. Patterns emerged quickly. The same supervisors raised their voices. The same employees went quiet. The same mistakes repeated, not because people were careless, but because they were afraid to ask questions. Fear, Lily learned, was expensive. She brought her observations to Ethan during their weekly check-ins. "They're not lazy," she said once. "They're guarded." "Fear costs more than most companies realize," Ethan replied. Together, they made changes that did not look dramatic on paper, but felt seismic in practice. Clear expectations instead of shifting rules. Private feedback instead of public humiliation. A reporting system that protected honesty instead of punishing it. Not everyone stayed. One manager resigned within days. Another fought openly, accusing Lily of favoritism and Ethan of losing control. Ethan did not waver. "She's not here to be liked," he said calmly in a meeting. "She's here to make this better." The words settled into Lily's bones. Late one evening, after a long day of site visits, they sat in a quiet restaurant that did not belong to the company. No staff recognized them. No tension followed them. Just two people sharing a meal. "You could have chosen someone with a degree," Lily said finally. "Someone who looks the part." Ethan smiled faintly. "I've met many people who look the part. Very few who live it." She looked down at her hands. "Some days I still feel like I'm pretending." "So did I," Ethan said. "For years." She looked up, surprised. "Being decisive doesn't mean being certain," he continued. "It means moving forward anyway." Something shifted between them then. Not romance, not drama. Something quieter. Trust. The results became impossible to ignore. Turnover slowed. Customer feedback improved. One night, a server stopped Lily after closing, voice shaking. "I almost quit last month," the woman admitted. "Now I don't feel invisible." Lily went home that night and sat by the window, city lights humming outside. She thought about the first night again, the empty table, the man everyone avoided. She had not planned to change a company. She had not planned to stand out. She had simply refused to shrink. Her phone buzzed. "You did well today," Ethan's message read. She smiled before replying. "We did." Months later, Ethan asked her to lead the company-wide cultural training program. "On your term," he said, "with your voice." Lily felt the weight of the offer, not as pressure, but as trust. "I'll do it," she said, "but only if we keep listening." "That was always the point," Ethan replied. On the evening they finalized the program, they stood together after closing, turning off the lights one by one. At the door, Ethan hesitated. "There's something else," he said. Lily waited. "When I sat at that table," Ethan continued, "I thought I was measuring everyone else. He paused. I didn't expect to be measured myself. She met his gaze. And I realized I didn't like the man I was pretending to be. Silence settled between them, not uncomfortable, not rushed. I'm glad you didn't treat me differently, he added, even after you knew. Lily smiled gently. I never saw a reason to. Outside, the city moved as it always had. Cars passed, people hurried by, unaware of the quiet shift that had begun inside one restaurant and spread far beyond it. Their connection grew slowly after that. Not rushed, not dramatic. Built the same way trust had been built between them. Through consistency, through honesty, through shared work. The arrogant millionaire no longer needed to test anyone. The new girl no longer needed to prove herself. What remained was something stronger than power. Mutual respect, and a truth that lingered long after the doors closed for the night. Real leadership was never about being feared. It was about being worthy of trust. How did this story make you feel? And what do you think it says about courage and leadership in real life? If you enjoyed this story, please leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss our newest stories. Where are you watching from today? And if this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it.